The hum of conversation filled the conference room as I glanced down at my phone, its screen glowing with an incoming call from Tyler. I slipped into the hallway, expecting the usual chit-chat. "How's the trip? When will you be home?" But instead, Tyler's voice came through, cold and smug. "I'm divorcing you," he said, his tone almost victorious. "I've already sold the apartment, so you'll need to figure out your next move. Good luck with that." For a second, I couldn't breathe. The sheer nerve, the complete lack of guilt, it was almost absurd. My grip on the phone tightened as his words settled in. "You sold the apartment?" I asked, keeping my voice even. "Yeah?" he replied with a humorless chuckle. "Nicole and I need the cash to start our life. That place was too small for her. Anyway, Nicole," the name hit like a punch. I'd suspected there was someone else. Tyler's sudden late nights, impromptu business trips, the growing distance between us. But hearing him drop her name so nonchalantly, like I was some stranger interfering in their story, ignited a fire in my chest. "Sounds great," I said, voice calm. I refused to give him the satisfaction of hearing me fall apart. "My name's Amelia, and up until that moment, I believed I was married to a man I could trust. Tyler and I had been together for 6 years. Things weren't always perfect, but I believed in us. We'd saved for that apartment, a modest 2-bedroom in the city I'd loved at first sight. It was more than just a place. It was our foundation, or so I'd thought. Looking back, the red flags had been there. The way Tyler dismissed me when I brought up finances, how he brushed aside my concerns with a charming grin and a quick kiss. I assumed he had things under control. In reality, he just knew how to keep me under control. The rest of the day passed in a haze. I sat through client meetings, nodding when appropriate, but my mind was elsewhere. Tyler thought he'd pulled off the ultimate move, selling the home I worked so hard for and walking away without consequence. But there was one detail he hadn't counted on. The deed had been solely in my name for months. We'd refinanced earlier that year, and during that process, I had it legally transferred to me. Tyler hadn't paid attention, just signed the paperwork for a better interest rate. That laziness, it was about to cost him. By the time I got back to my hotel room that evening, the initial shock had turned into quiet determination. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to cry. If Tyler wanted a fight, he had one, but it wasn't going to end how he imagined. The first person I called was Chloe, my lawyer, and a close friend. I laid everything out for her, detail by detail, my tone steady though my pulse pounded. "He sold the apartment," she repeated, stunned. "He can't even do that without your approval." Apparently, he doesn't realize that, I said, a trace of amusement breaking through. "He thinks the money's already his, ready for his new life with Nicole." Chloe let out a sharp laugh. "Well, he's in for a surprise. That sale is completely invalid. You can prove you're the sole owner. And if he took money from a buyer, he's looking at fraud." The word fraud hit me like a jolt of clarity. "What's our move?" I asked. "First, we notify the buyer," Chloe said. "Then we draft a formal letter to Tyler spelling out the consequences. If he tries anything else, we take him to court." When I hung up, a strange calm came over me. Tyler thought he'd left me helpless. In truth, he'd handed me the upper hand. The rest of the trip, I kept my focus sharp. I tucked my emotions away and poured myself into the steps ahead. His betrayal hurt, of course it did, but reclaiming my power felt like a new beginning. As soon as I landed back home, I called Chloe again. "I'm back," I said, tugging my suitcase from the carousel. "What's next?" "We've already reached out to the buyer," she told me. They were shocked and understandably furious. They're willing to cooperate. "And Tyler, I sent him the formal letter this morning," she added. "It outlines the illegality of the sale, your ownership, and the potential legal consequences. He hasn't replied yet, but if I had to guess, he's furious." Good, I thought. Let him stew. When I got home, the apartment felt ... different. Tyler's things were still scattered, his jacket slung over a chair, shoes kicked by the door, but the energy had shifted. I set my suitcase down, knowing confrontation was coming. Sure enough, Tyler barged in that night, rage simmering, waving Chloe's letter. "What the hell is this?" he shouted. "You're telling me I can't sell the apartment? It's half mine." "No, it's not," I said, arms crossed. "The deed's been in my name for months. You can't sell what doesn't belong to you." He froze, confusion battling with anger. "What are you talking about?" I held up the deed I'd already pulled from our files. "Remember the refinance? You signed the transfer. Didn't bother to read the papers." As usual, for a second, he was speechless. Then the sneer came back. "You think you're clever? This doesn't change anything. I've made a deal. You'll look like an idiot when it all falls apart." "No, Tyler. The sale's void. The buyer knows it and is ready to take action unless the money's returned." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "And if you've already touched that deposit, you're in deeper than you realize." His smugness cracked. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I know exactly what I'm talking about," I said firmly. "For years you treated me like I was too naive to catch on, but I've been paying attention and now you're facing the consequences." He started pacing, agitated. "This is insane. You can't just throw me out." "Actually, I can," I said. "This place is legally mine. You can stay here for now, but only because I'm giving you time to figure out where to go. Don't mistake that for weakness." In the following days, Tyler's rage turned to panic. He called constantly, one voicemail begging, the next threatening. Chloe stayed on top of everything. The buyer rescinded the agreement, furious at being misled, and Chloe began drafting the divorce paperwork. "You're in a strong position," she told me. "Between the voided sale and fraud risk, Tyler has no leverage." Her words were empowering but also sobering. I'd let Tyler steer my life for too long, brushing off his arrogance, trying to keep peace. No more my best friend. Lauren came by one evening to help clear Tyler's stuff. "How's he handling all this?" she asked, tossing one of his ugly ties in a box. "Not well," I laughed. "He still thinks he can talk his way out of it, but I'm not moving an inch." "Good. He doesn't deserve even a drawer of your space." Her support reminded me I wasn't alone anymore. For so long, I'd been carrying the emotional load of the relationship while Tyler took credit. But now, things were shifting. The final straw came when Tyler brought Nicole to the apartment. I was at the dining table, reviewing papers when they walked in like they owned the place. Nicole surveyed the room, her arm looped through Tyler's. "So this is where we'll be staying?" she asked, smug. I stood, heart racing but voice firm. "No, this is where Tyler was staying. You won't be staying here at all." Nicole's smile slipped. Tyler looked stunned. "What is this?" he snapped. "This," I said, gesturing around, "is my home. Not yours, not hers, and definitely not a crash pad for your affair." Nicole looked from me to him clearly, rattled. "You told me you sold this place, that it was yours." He stammered, "It's got complicated." "Oh, it's not," I cut in. "He tried to sell a home he doesn't own. That's fraud. And if he doesn't leave by tonight, I will press charges." Nicole's expression turned to shock. "Fraud," she whispered. "You lied?" "Yes," I said simply. "He did?" Nicole turned to Tyler, disgusted. "I'm not getting involved in this," she snapped, then stormed out. As the door slammed behind her, I turned to him. "Looks like you're on your own. Now let's talk about what happens next." He slumped on the couch, head in hands.